Hello and welcome to Drinks with Ron. I am Ron, and I've had many drinks. And I feel pretty good about that, honestly. I'm in a good space about it. Anywho, I've been kicking something around in my head earlier tonight. It's weird. I started thinking about some things I had done in my life, how they compared to other things that other people had done, and how that there isn't necessarily an equivalent for these things. Example, the first thing I started thinking of was, well, I have worked in television. That's a thing not a lot of people can say. It's a thing I did for a little while. Went to school for it. Good times. Radio. I worked in radio for a handful of years. That's another thing not a lot of people can say. You're not going to go wandering around in your daily life and find a whole lot of people that tell you, yes, I used to be an FM DJ. Time and weather, and hey, 75 and sunny in downtown La Crosse, and here's Uncle Cracker, because fuck you, that's why, on a generic FM radio station. That's what I did for a living for a handful of years. But I started thinking, what would you call those things? Now, I guess a good generic term for that would be accomplishment. I guess you could say, what was an accomplishment you had? And I would say, well, sir, I worked on the television. I was a master control. I used to put videotapes in the recorder and record feeds from the satellite. And oh my, what a dilly of a time we had. But then I started thinking, what are some other things? I mean, that's just things I did. That's just me personally. I started thinking about other people, and I started thinking about just things in general. Another example, going to prison. Well, I've never been to prison, but some people have been to prison. Now, that's definitely a life experience. That's definitely a genuine low percentage life experience. Conversely, you can't call that an accomplishment, but it's a low percentage thing. And that's when it got me kicking, like, what do you call it? And I'm going back to that. That's what it is. It's the, shit, how did I do it? I don't know. The low percentage was the key there. A low percentage experience, I believe, is what I went with. And that's a better term. As far as gauging the interestingness, gauging the degree of interessante. It's a good way of measuring how interesting your fucking life was. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to get a gauge on how interesting your fucking existence was. Because when it comes down to the end, and you're laying in some fucking bed, and hopefully you've at least made it to 80, and you've got somewhat of your faculties about you, and you're thinking back on your life, what's it all about? What's it all fucking for? And when you're laying there about to fucking kick off on some shitty cotton mattress, what is it that sticks into your fucking craw and says, my God, that's what I did? And that's when I got to thinking, it's not necessarily an accomplishment, but it's a low percentage experience, and that's how you gauge the interesting level of one's life. I believe that's safe. I'm putting this forward as a hypothesis. Don't you fucking bark at me. I'm sciencing. I agree that my hand gestures are very aggressive, but this is not about you. So you need to calm the fuck down before you make me lose my place. Okay, that's how you gauge. Goddamn dog threw me off. That's how you gauge the interesting level. God damn it. And it's not even necessarily a thing. Like I said, prison's the perfect example. Not even a thing I would wish on someone, but it is an experience that not a lot of us go through that would render in your life. It would factor. You would remember that. I would believe. And while I'm glad that's an experience that I don't have, I completely get how, anyway, long and short of it, I'm a little over 6 minutes here, and I've got a pizza that's probably just turned to a fucking, essentially, carbon hockey puck. It's going to be crunchy. It's going to be just this black carbon. I'm going to break it, and it's going to turn into fucking dust. But it's important because of science. I'm willing to burn a goddamn Roma in the name of science. I'll tell you that right now. I'll tell you that in front of... Cat? God damn it. Okay, anyway, I'm burning a pizza in the name of science because I have officially putting forward a hypothesis of now how you gauge the interestingness of a human existence, and that is on a scale that factors in a low percentage experience. Now, whether that's working in an antiquated field like radio, or having a terrible experience like going to prison, or maybe sometime you were a guy who walked a fucking tightrope, or I don't know, maybe you met fucking John Bon Jovi in the crapper. It doesn't have to be good or bad or anything. It just has to be rare, and that's what I'm saying. Rarity. I think that's what I'm saying. I'm not sure what I'm saying. I'm saying is I'm going to go eat a Roma pizza that's probably real black. But I'm doing it in the name of science. God damn it. So in the name of science and Drinks with Ron, I'm Ron, signing off.